Flip man, flip man. It's the flip man. Flip man, flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
And boom, we're here for show 177 of this week's Flippinar, where we answer your questions about real estate investing with a strong emphasis on wholesaling real estate, which requires no cash or credit to get involved, start making money. It's real, not making it up. I didn't invent it. I'm just an individual that's taking advantage of some very old information, adding some new information with some technology to hopefully help you make some money. Make sure you hammer the like button. Hammer that like button, hammer the share button. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow me here on Flipman, Ask Flipman channel, where everything you need to know is right here. Turn on the bell, tap the little bell, turn on the notifications so you are alerted whenever we go live and whenever I upload new content. So with no further ado, over to AP.
All right, as you said, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Oh my gosh, this year is flying by. The first quarter is almost done, but it's never too late. Just stop saying one day and make today the day that you start your wholesaling career. We're live across all social media platforms. As I mentioned, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share button. You have plenty of time to invite other individuals to come join us on this chat forum tonight. The beautiful Miss Renikia is with us. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Just like I said, just fascinated at how fast this first quarter of 2021 is flying by. I mean, we got daylight saving times coming up this weekend. It's like, wow, what's going on?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But not to be discouraged by a quarter of the year being away. We still have 3/4 of the year to stack, as we like to say, binge, grind, and stack. So without further ado, this is a place where you ask the questions, I read the questions, and they answer the questions in regards to wholesaling real estate with little to no cash or credit. Let's jump right into this thing. Renikia, now the first question right off the bat is going to be for you. And it's from Top 5 Thrills. And he just wanted to know, does your company fund fix and flip deals from out of state? So is it only for in your area or is it anywhere?
It is in all 50 states. So we do fund fix and flip, new construction, buy and hold, development. We fund in all 50 states.
All right, Top 5 Thrills. Hopefully that answered your question. And guys, if you're not familiar with Miss Renikia and fundmynextdeal.com, she does have financial services available to you guys. And we'll talk about that a little further into the show as we get more people logged in and joining us tonight. Good life. Glad you're finally able to join us on the live. Lil Pump, Felicia Jones, Walter Davis, Mindset Property Solutions. You're right. We're all here. Let's get that bag. And thanking everyone that is on Instagram and TikTok. Go ahead and start posting those questions. And as we do every week, you can go to flippinar.com and join us live and ask the questions yourself. So our next question is going to be from Miss Felicia Jones. She says, I asked last week about a wholesale contract, but wasn't sure of how I can retrieve it from you. Thank you so much. So, Ty, maybe she's talking about that contract that you have available.
Yeah, all you have to do, get my free contract. I'm gonna put it in here in the ticker. Just go to YouTube and do a search for Flipman 2021 contract, and that video is going to show you how to access it for free, but also how to fill it out for sellers and cash buyers.
All right, there you have it. Lovely Tasha. Hi. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Walter Davis' question tonight is it better to place a sub to and a trust? So a subject to, would you place it in a trust?
I mean, if you're going to hold on to it, I mean, I think that's just one of the business practices that you can place any of your assets in the trust. It doesn't have to be a subject to. I just think that's just a wealth strategy to protect your assets by putting it in a trust, but it not necessarily have, you don't have to put a subject to in a trust. I just think it's just a wealth strategy to protect your assets.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Walter. Little Pump wants to know how to deal with sellers who ghost after saying they will talk to their wife. So yeah, I'll get back with you, man. I just need to talk with the missus on it, old ball and chain. And you don't hear from them.
in the sales game, that normally means no. You know, when they start using their spouse as a delay, or hey, I need to think about it or whatever. Was it hey, if a man tell you to say what you wearing, the panties or the drawers?
Right. What's really going on?
But yeah, normally that's what that means. Not saying you should just give up on it, because he may need to really talk to his wife. I'm just tripping or whatever. Yeah. But you know, that is also like a good excuse, you know, to say no without saying no or whatever. So
all right. On TikTok, Jason Campos, we want to say congratulations. He says he got his first flip for $35,000. So wow. Great job on that. That is exciting, Ms. Vanderbilt.
Wow.
If you would like to share that story, just reach out with us and let us know. We'd love to hear how you acquired the property and how the process went for you. Love having motivational stories for those that might be a little ho-hum in this process and like, it ain't working for me. It does work. You just got to work it. So don't be discouraged. Now, Nika Batson on Instagram wants to know, is it necessary to have both a P&S agreement and a assignment contract? So P&S, purchase and sale agreement, for you guys that were curious what that meant. So is it necessary to have both?
I honestly, I have never used the assignment contract and probably never will use the assignment contract unless I have to use the assignment contract. But it's not necessarily have both. The purchase and sales agreement do have the assignment clause in it. So you can use two purchase and sales agreement. You can use one purchase and sales agreement and do an assignment agreement or contract with your end buyer is really your preference. I personally just rather use two purchase and sales agreements.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you may have an attorney or a title company that require a assignment contract to be in the chain or whatever, but normally they don't trip about it. So, you know, in most cases you don't need it or whatever, you know, but both work. If you want to use an assignment contract, you can do it that way. I just don't, you know, we don't advise doing it that way, because now you're openly allowing them to negotiate your assignment fee versus negotiating a price where your assignment fee is built into the price or whatever. So if that makes sense.
All right. M. Divine Homes, law clerk on demand. UBU joined Real Ward Rod Warren. Thank you all for joining us. I see you on Instagram there. In Divine Homes on Instagram wants to know, can I use batch leads for the list, skip tracing, and SMS instead of prop stream and batch leads? So
yes. Yeah, you can do all of it there.
Okay, there you have it. Simple. Yes. Yep. Okay. So let's see. We're going to jump right over back into the questions from YouTube. Elvano wants to know, what are some unexpected problems that could come up within the wholesaling deal? So just in your experience, what are the hiccups that are like, dang, didn't see that one coming?
You get a lot of stuff, but go ahead.
Right. That's any deal. I would say one of the greatest hiccups that I have experienced is dealing with another wholesaler and they don't have their contracts in order. So they're trying to assign a contract that they don't even have. But you won't know they don't have that contract until you all get farther down the line and you realize that he's not even under contract. So I think that's probably one of the biggest problems I have experienced wholesaling.
Also, the title, you know, and that's one of the things that may be out of your control, because the so-called owner really didn't purchase it the way they should have purchased it or whatever. So they acquired it maybe through a relative or something, and they got a quick claim deed or something, and now that person's dead, that they really probably the real estate that owns it, and you got other heirs that got say so in, and that's like the one that you hope ain't the situation. A lot of times those can't be corrected, or it may take a long time to correct it or what. Let me just say that. Because now you got to have multiple people to agree, number one, to sell it, and then number two, to sell it at a price that works for you or whatever. So the title, what's normally scares me more than anything. Because once I have a seller and a buyer in place, that's the only thing that can really mess it up in most cases or whatever. So, but like she said, now if you're dealing with other wholesalers, a lot of times you're not dealing with the wholesaler that actually has it under contract with the owner. And you won't know that. And like she said, until you already did your part, produced a buyer, they going through the title process, and now, I can't get in touch with the other wholesaler. What other wholesaler? You know what I'm saying? So you really need to ask those questions, what I'm saying, to be real direct or whatever. Okay. All right. Okay. You're dealing directly with the owner. I'm dealing with the owner's rep or seller's rep. Whenever you hear the word seller's rep, run. Whenever they start talking about NDA, normally this was commercial stuff. Run. Whenever you start hearing the term +3, run. You probably so far from the owner. It's ridiculous.
You don't want to be the wholesaler deal. It's like 4 wholesalers in the middle. It's too much. You'll never get that down to the closing table.
Never. The bigger the money. I mean, the more the money, the closer you need to be to the seller. Period. When you start talking about 7-figure deals, high 6 figures, the closer you need to be to the seller. That's when you start hearing that NDA stuff, the +3. You'd be so far from the seller, it's ridiculous. The reason I know, not saying it's not possible to close those deals, I chased that stuff for 1.5 years.
Me too.
Made zero.
Me too.
Made zero.
I actually I almost went under chasing that. Like literally, I had to regroup. I had almost went into a dark place chasing that smoke and mirrors deals. It's like, no.
Like I understand the purpose of an NDA, but if I'm that type of person that I want to go around you, you don't know everybody that I know. You know what I'm saying? If we were going to do that, I can send the other person in that direction, and I signed it. You don't know how to know them. You know what I'm saying? And so I get it, but I'm just telling you, though in the wholesale world, that normally means run. Let me just say that.
Right.
That normally run. Don't give it a lot of attention.
And then like Todd said, I mean, I think the title was probably the most unknown out of the whole thing, because we don't know what's on title until the attorney pulls it. But by then we done did major due diligence. We're probably out of the due diligence period. Some of the things, liens and things like that may come up that you don't know. And now, the whole property upside down, and no one knew about that because the seller didn't disclose that he had a lien on the property. So, that title is probably one of the ones, but don't try to go and pull your own title. Let the attorney do their job, and it'll just come out in that title search.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. My K33 wants to know, is wholesaling houses with foreclosures and liens any different from a regular house?
Say that again.
So just your regular house, you've got the seller, he owns it, versus a home that is in foreclosure, it has liens. Is there any difference when wholesaling these two types of properties?
Well, there's no difference if the numbers work.
And the foreclosures, the lender owns it at that point.
Oh yeah. I was thinking pre-foreclosure. Yeah, if it's an actual foreclosure, then that's a different. That's different. That's different. Different process. Different. You need as I say, a special buyer for those or whatever. But you haven't found anything that they haven't already been made aware of. Not saying you couldn't have negotiated it into a great deal or whatever, but the process is different because the lender is going to control the seller side of it. And normally you control the seller side of it when you're dealing with just Joe the seller. Because a lot of times the lender is going to choose where it closes. They're going to approve the HUD. So assignments is out. Double closing technically is out. You're going to have to, in some form or fashion, buy it first.
Yeah.
But that defeats the whole purpose of wholesaling.
Right.
So.
All right. So Renikia, again, this is a question directed for you in regards to gap funding. Does that cover EMDs, or do you loan the EMD needed for the deal?
So gap funding is unsecured credit lines. So it doesn't cover EMD. It allows you to leverage your credit to get unsecured credit lines, aka credit cards, lines of credit, and things of that nature. So you can offset and you'll be able to use those credit lines or pull the cash off those credit lines to take care of your earnest money. So it's a creative way to take care of your earnest money without using the cash in your pocket. Is leveraging your credit, pull that cash off of those credit lines and use that as earnest money.
All right. So since we have had those two questions, Renikia, I think we're a good.
Wait a minute, real quick, Renika.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should ask you on air, but it's this business. You know the Him 500 dude?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've seen him. I don't know him like that, but I've seen him.
Okay, all right. Just out of curiosity. Yeah. He is in Atlanta, right? He lives in Atlanta, right?
I'm not for sure.
Okay, I thought he.
Who's the him? Let me pull this up. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, he's based out of Atlanta.
Okay, yeah.
This shows a lot of traveling, but yeah, he's based out of Atlanta.
I know you. Oh, I do know of him. I never met him.
Okay,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity.
Actually, I never met him.
Okay. So what I was saying was before I was so rudely interrupted.
I'm so sorry. Will you ever forgive me?
I suppose. We're a good 17 minutes in, and we've had two questions in regards to your company and the financial offerings that it provides. So now would be a good time for those joining us, or maybe those who just may have missed it in the past, that don't know that you have a company that helps with funding real estate purchases, deals, fix and flips, buy and holds. So explain that process, what's needed, and how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that layup. As always, I'm so thankful to be a part of the Flipman Show. My goal is to provide just creative financing. I mean, although we teach wholesaling on this show, we teach how to buy and sell real estate with absolutely no money or little to any money. You are still running a business. So it comes a time where you still need to be able to invest back into your business, scale your business up, or you want to scale your business up to do a fix and flip or buy and hold and things of that nature. So that's when your credit lines and leveraging your credit and loans really will take more of a position in your real estate business. So our focus is to help you leverage your credit. You can have a service where you can leverage your credit to get up to $150,000 of unsecured credit. You can use the unsecured credit for anything. You can use it to help you to buy the tools that you need to wholesale your business. You can use that to offset the expenses to your down payment for a fix and flip. You can use that to offset the expenses for your closing costs and things of that nature. So just being able to get creative and find the money, that's really what it's about. You may not have all the money, but find the money. It really, a lot of money is sitting right in our credit if we're working on our credit and keeping that good credit score. We also do residential and commercial loans nationwide in all 50 states, fix and flips, buy and hold, new construction. And you do not need your tax returns, your bank statements, your income verification, nor pay stubs for any of our creative financing loans either. So if you are interested in any of our financing products, or you have a deal that you want to finance, or you may have a project or a property that you own and you want to pull some cash, some equity out of that, it's called Find the Money. Some people have equity right in their properties that they own and don't realize that you can tap into that equity, so you can put that into another deal and continue to scale up. But go to findmynextdeal.com if you are interested in those funding options. And you can also reach me via Facebook or Instagram or email, as you see right there.
All right, guys, there you have it. Renikia Williams across all social media platforms. But go to fundmynextdeal.com in order to reach out to her or someone of her staff, and allow them 48 to 72 hours to respond via telephone call or email, guys. So swinging right back into these questions, we have lovely Tasha XO. Thank you for joining us. She states, I have a contract that I am re-entering. I thought it was a dead deal, but the seller is willing to negotiate the price. I'm currently looking for a buyer. Do I tell them I'm a wholesaler? The second portion of her question is, how much do we pay title companies once we have a buyer in place?
So she's asking, should she tell the seller she's a wholesaler or the cash buyer she's a wholesaler?
So she's talking about the cash buyer, because she also says, do I tell them address or would I wait so that they don't try to contact the seller without me? So this is
what?
Like a from scratch. Like, so she wants to know that she tell the cash buyer who she is and what she has going.
Well, yeah, you know, that's no big deal. You know, again, you're trying to build network and relationships. You want them to view you as an asset. You got to give them the address, but you don't want to give them the address unless you have it on a contract. There's no way they can evaluate the property without the address, right? So, not saying that's still going to prevent them from trying to circumvent you, because you're going to have cats out there like that. It just is, or whatever. But it's not many people out there. Would you say it's not really a lot of people out there like that, Renita? Because at the end of the day, it could blow your deal up. But now you have to have the seller being shady also. You know what I'm saying? Because the seller know they signed a contract with you or whatever. Now, for the title come, what was the second question?
How much does it cost?
Normally the cash buyer pay it, so you really don't worry about it or whatever. But if you decide to go ahead and initiate that, $300 to $500 to run title, depending on what market you're in. Well, what is it up there in Atlanta normally?
Yeah, that's about right. $300 to $500.
Okay, yeah.
At least $250 to start that title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can add to what I said.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But most importantly, I mean, I think it's a way to let people know who you are. I mean, sometimes, I'm a wholesaler, so sometimes you say, hey, I control this contract. Or whatever the case may be. So, sometimes it's how you present that, or whatever the case may be, but you don't necessarily want to market anything out loud unless you have it on the contract. Because you don't have it on the contract, absolutely they're going to contact that seller if you don't have it on the contract. So just make sure you have your paperwork have your property on the contract before you are actually marking that property to anyone. So you control that contract, and the seller usually will honor that contract no matter who calls them or her.
All right. So lovely, Tasha. Hopefully that answers your question there. And Krista I'm sorry if you missed it. Her question was, what credit score would she need for the creative financing? And that is a 680 across all three boroughs, correct?
Yes, that's for gap funding. So 680 for gaps funding. But if you're looking to do a fix and flip, we can lend at all the way down to 650.
All right. Krista, hopefully that answers your question there. Okay, so Terrence Drew says, I'm having a hard time getting sellers to lower their price on the properties to be able to make it work for a wholesale deal. What's a good way to get them to come to the price you need to have a good deal?
It's really the seller distraction. It's really how motivated they are. The more motivated a seller is, the more they're going to negotiate. They're going to try to get this thing off their hand. But if they're not that motivated, they want what they want. And it's like, a lot of times there's nothing you can say to convince them anything lower than that. So you just got to really check back at them a little bit later or something. Just continue to check in and see if it's, if he have sold it yet. But a lot of times you can't convince the seller who's not really motivated to lower their price and take something lower than what they're asking for. So one of the things that you can possibly do is, once you get your contractor out over there and things of that nature, you make it seem like you have to sometimes educate the seller that, hey, I know that you want this price, but you don't realize that the roof is in bad shape. And you start to point out all these flaws and all these issues that you will have to pay and have to repair. So to justify why you want a lower price, but just to lowball them without justifying, the different, help them to understand that, hey, your property is not worth what you're asking for because you need to replace the roof. I need to replace the plumbing, electrical, blah, 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 and all those things. So you want to begin to pinpoint with facts why you are requesting that lower amount as well. If that seller is really, really don't want to negotiate that price, you want to begin to kind of poke holes in their house to make them feel like, hey, this is a good offer because these are all the repairs that really need to be done to your property. But what do you think?
I concur.
All right. Okay, so I am Godbody and Born Power. I think y'all are one of the same. So the question is, do you give LLC-owned properties a wholesale cash offer or just private owned? So is there a difference when you're looking at the properties that are, locked up in an LLC, or are you talking just directly to the seller? It's still the same offer, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Cash buyers, no matter who's selling it.
All right. That's good. So Steve Brown says, if you've never done wholesaling before, do you think virtual wholesaling would be difficult?
I mean, to me, I think it's all easy once you put your mind to it. But I do think wholesaling in your backyard is easier because you're able to, somewhat be able to touch people, be able to control the narrative, be able to pull up when you need to. Versus when you're virtual, you can't touch anyone. It goes back to not knowing that there's a lot of people in the middle of your deal because you're virtual. You're not able to go and meet anyone and things of that nature. So I wouldn't say virtual is harder, but it's just a lot more moving parts for you to understand because you are not there at that particular stage. So you can't, how do you have the seller to meet the end buyer to look at the property? That's going to be an issue. And so you will have to figure out, how do you allow that end buyer to go view the property without meeting the seller, which is almost impossible unless you do that extra step by having feet on the ground or representations in that area to be able to meet with the people that you need them to meet with. So I wouldn't say it's harder, just a lot more moving parts.
All right. Ty, you got any input on that?
I concur.
Oh, you know what? You and this concur. Okay. Greg Black is our next question up, and he wants to know, can you wholesale with a house that has a mortgage on it that's more than it's worth? For example, a short sale. If so, what do you recommend? So first of all, we got a mortgage that's more than what the house is even worth. We're still going to say the ARV. Yeah, that's like a red flag, first off. Mm-hmm. And then to try to figure out a creative financing for it, such as a short sale. How do you handle this type of situation?
You don't. It's not a deal.
You're right. I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, I don't mean to say that like that, but it's just not a deal. I mean, you're saying it's worth more than what you can sell it for, so it's just not a deal.
Yeah. And then that would be a short sale of all time. If the ARV is less than what they owe, they got to discount it significantly for a wholesale deal or whatever. So
exactly. It's too close to retail price.
Yeah, those are the easy ones to not waste any time on. As far as wholesaling, now if you got a different exit strategy, then so be it or whatever. But for wholesaling, nah.
If the numbers don't make sense, it don't make sense.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. The numbers are the numbers, man. Mm-hmm. I hadn't mentioned it, but if you want to ask your question, I think I have the right link there tonight on the live stream with us. That gets you pushed to the front of the line. Plus, you'll probably be able to ask multiple questions as we entertain your time. Just go to flippinar.com. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can see the streaming banner. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, you can go over to YouTube. You can go over to flippinar.com. Make sure you have your camera and audio set correctly. And we'll gladly add you on the live stream and get pushed to the front of the line with your questions. It's more entertaining podcasting or live streaming, I think. I'm not sure, but I think.
I know so. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go.
There you have
the official spell approval.
Okay, so only me 490 on Instagram wants to know, Renikia, is it better to flip or rent out? But I think it's going to be up to the individual, and it's going to be what your end game is. Like, are you able to wait and just take, a little positive cash flow every year? I mean, every month, or do you need a bigger payout lump sum to keep this thing going? So, is there really an answer to should you flip or should you rent?
No, it's definitely not an answer, but it is a plan. And the key is your plan. You got to know what your plan is. What is your end goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And then when you know what your end goal is, then is it better to flip or is it better to hold? So you got to know, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to accomplish a 30 door portfolio, you know that, hey, somewhere in that plan that I'm beholding. Whatever the case may be. If you know that you may not have the liquidity that you really need, you may have to flip a couple houses so you can get the liquidity that you need. So it really boils down to your plan. And I think that's a very important thing to really understand as we are out here, we wholesaling and we flipping and flipping and we buying and holding and we building these legacies out here. It's a plan. It's not something, we're just not out here just doing the most. We want to make sure we understand exactly what we're looking to accomplish. And begin to work that plan accordingly.
All right. I think that was an awesome answer, and hopefully you got that, Walt. Was that Walt? Yeah, it might have been Walt. Okay, so the next question we're going to have is going to be from Good Life, and it's in regards to those contracts again. So does it cost more to use 2 contracts with the title company, or the one for the buyer and the one for the seller? So maybe they're talking about a double closing versus it's your standard.
Okay, I mean, is it, well, as based on your question, it doesn't cost more to use 2 contracts because either way you're going to use 2 contracts. It's either going to be a 2 purchase and sales agreement, or it's going to be 1 purchase and sales agreement and an assignment. But when it comes to payment at the closing table, it is 2 separate types of strategies. You got the double closing strategy, where absolutely you'll be paying some closing costs in that double closing strategy. But if you have the assignment strategy, where it's just 1 closing, that means the seller and the buyer is really going to pay their own closing costs. So there's no closing costs for you to pay. When there's 1 closing between the seller and the end buyer, and you just have your assignment fee on the HUD, then the seller and the buyer pays their own closing costs. But if you do double closing, then you will occur on closing costs in between those 2 double closings that you would have to pay for.
Okay, so he might have been a little confused because he said, Renikia said earlier she doesn't use an assignment, just trying to understand.
Yeah,
no,
he's a little confused that you still, even though you're using 2 purchase and sales agreement, the difference of the 2 contracts, actual purchase and sales agreement, you're getting paid an assignment fee for the difference of those 2 contracts, even though an actual assignment or contract is not being used. Whenever contracts are only to initiate the deal. It's up to the title company or closing attorney on how it's structured and how it's dispersed or whatever. Okay, so Renikia you may do a double closing using 2 contracts, but you also can get paid an assignment fee with that. It just needs to be instructed. That's how I'm going to get paid. The difference of the 2 contracts, purchase and sales agreements, I say contracts, even though an actual assignment contract hasn't been used. I think that confuses people or whatever. Right. On the actual HUD 1, which a HUD 1 is basically an invoice that displays who's the seller, who's the buyer, who's paying what, who's receiving what. So that includes your assignment fee. And on that document, it'll say assignment fee paid to Cash Buyer LLC, cash with a K, by the way, Cash Buyer LLC or whatever. So that's it. That's what confusing people or whatever. And
And you're absolutely right. I did say I don't use the assignment contract because I use 2 purchase and sales agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And the purchase and sales agreement has the assignment clause on it. So I can assign my purchase and sales agreement. So my contract allows me to assign that. So I don't necessarily use the assignment contract, but I use 2 purchase and sales agreement. So no matter what, you will always use 2 contracts. It will always be an A-B contract between you and the buyer. I mean, between you and the actual seller of the property. And there's a B-C contract between you and the actual end buyer. So there will always be 2 contracts.
All right. Hopefully that cleared that up for you, love. That earlier question was from Greg Black, not from Walt. But Walt's question is, can you explain the difference between a sub 2 and a wraparound loan?
So from my understanding, a wraparound loan is something completely different from a subject to. A wraparound loan is like a blanket loan. It wraps multiple properties in one loan. So it's totally different from a subject to. So it's no comparison between the 2. A wrap loan is a blanket loan where you can wrap one loan around multiple properties. A subject to is for someone that will purchase a property subject to the current terms and is subject to the current mortgage that's on the existing mortgage that's on the property.
All right. So Mad Charlie on Instagram wants to know, Ty, what days and times are you usually live? Is there a schedule? So, guys, we try to meet every Thursday. Every Thursday. 8 p.m.
I think he's thinking about doing the daytime.
7 Central. So that's for the what you're on right now, this live. The asking question in regards to wholesaling homes with no credit, low cash. But then daily around noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern, Ty goes live with the live Q&A as well. So that's daily. And then on Thursdays before this live, there's normally a Comps 101 call where you can call in and have your properties comp. So the best way to stay notified of when Ty goes live is, for one, to subscribe to his Ask Flipman social media accounts, which is going to be across all social media platforms, but especially when you get to Instagram and TikTok, because you'll be notified when he uploads content daily or when he goes live. Does that sound about right, Ty?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Okay, I gotta concur. Concur. So hopefully that answers your question, man, Charlie. R. Coles 8. I don't see your question. I did refresh my Instagram, so it might have disappeared. So go ahead and post that in that chat box again, and I'll make sure I get you answered. And 3 Strikes Property Tie says, "What's up? When are you coming back to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? Enjoyed meeting you last summer." So is this summer going to be a summer of traveling?
Well, actually, that was actually it was a year ago last week, because I remember when I was getting ready to come back, I missed my flight coming back. I had to actually get a whole separate airline and everything. I don't know what I was doing, but I remember walking through the airport. I think I had to fly into Atlanta. And I saw people had their masks on. It was right before we went to hell. And I was like, look at these stupid, I was like, and they were the smartest people walking. I was like, look at these stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? They were the smartest people in that airport with those masks on. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But you can't go beyond what you don't know, right?
Right.
Boy, God have mercy. So a week later, the world went to hell. You know what I'm saying? So that was actually last March, not last summer. But yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So do you see any maybe seminars this summer? Want to try something different?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't say. You never know. I didn't know I was going up there then. So or whatever. You never know.
Okay. So Louis CM says, has a cash buyer backed out on you because you were asking for too much? Okay, so this is the scenario.
Well,
you got your contract, you got your buyer in place, and they find out how much you're making. And they say, oh, no, dog.
Did he say how much you're making or how much you're asking?
How that you're making too much.
Oh, okay. That's never happened to me. That's never happened to me. I've had cash buyers to back out because they can't come up with the money or whatever, and that's been rare. But I've never had one. Let me put it like this: I've never had anyone to tell me that, hey, you making too much, Tyrone, or whatever. Because once it gets to that point, the HUDs have been submitted. You know what I'm saying? Like the title company or the attorney may send a preliminary HUD to me and the cash buyer or whatever. So so you make sure the number's right or whatever. The day before, I never had anyone to come back to me and say, "Oh, you make too much. We can't do this deal." I've never had that. Let me back up. I take that back. But we didn't get that far. I had this on a commercial deal. The dude told me, we like this deal, but we don't like you're about to make this amount. I told him, dude, you can delete my number. We won't ever do business. You said the numbers work for you. I just went off on it. I said, we don't ever have to do business. That was on a commercial deal. We don't ever have to do business. You told me the price worked for you. So once we got down to it hadn't got to the point where we were about to close on it, but it was getting to the point where the numbers were being worked, to know who's getting what. So the HUD hadn't been actually created, but once they figured out that I was going to be making this much because we were using their title company, and he called me, I said, that's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? I said, I got other people want this deal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, man, he said, I don't want to be like that, Ty, but we really, just feel like this would be a fair number. No, you said that price worked for you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but that's the only time.
You gotta be willing to walk away and stuff like that. People gotta respect your business. This is my business. Yeah. How dare you, try to control my pay? But I have that happen to me once, only one time.
Yeah.
Only one time. And I know the issue was, it wasn't even the issue. I mean, the deal was a solid deal. Everybody got the numbers that they want, but because I was using my end buyer's attorney made it more of a big deal than what it was. And when my end buyer attorney did that, the whole deal fell apart. They began to cap. They didn't want to pay no more with this, and at the end of the day, nobody closed. Yeah. Nobody closed on it. Because you're not going to cap my pay, you're not going to lower my pay. So at the end of the day, nobody wins. Nobody wins.
I had a cash buyer's attorney to do that, and I went off like I went off on the other. He said, "No, man, I'll work it out. No, don't worry about him." You know what I'm saying? They made it happen. Because he was tripping like, dude, tell him about it. You know what I'm saying?
One of my main buyers.
Say what?
I would have definitely went off, but that was one of my main buyers. I couldn't go off. So I had to just let him know that, hey, we can just kill this deal and move on to the next one if that's going to be an issue. But yeah, that happens. That's why one of the things you want to try to do is control the attorney, because when you're dealing with your end buyer's attorney, they're not obligated to you. They're obligated to their client, which is that end buyer. So if anything comes up, they're going to share. They're going to be very transparent with your buyer. So if you're trying to hide something or anything of that nature, control it by making sure you are closing with your attorney if possible.
All right, there you have it. Good information there.
Y'all see, I got the collection plate out. I told I need to do more of that. I'm sort of shame on it, but I told I would need to do it. We like to eat good in this office or whatever. So we got the collection plate out, cash out, dollar sign.
Absolutely. Pass the collection plate.
Don't be ashamed as everybody else do. That's all right. I'll do it too. What the hell? We got the collection plate out.
Absolutely.
Y'all like this mess that is
asking it, and if you don't ask, it cannot be given. So ask so it can be given.
This message is bestowed on your souls and granted you the good heart to cash out me.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yes.
Dollars are accepted.
Right.
So story is David Leah wants to know, would it be a good idea to do subject to deals in California where houses are in the 700Ks? and their mortgage payments are about 3.5 per month, $3,000 a month. And because of COVID, they are behind 10 payments or more. So, Lord. So, cost of living is a heck of a lot different there than we're in Alabama, Rennie's in Georgia. So, come on. That may be like the norm for them, right?
Well, it just depends. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's a very common number. Again, it's still just going to boil down the numbers. If the mortgage is $3,500, you catch it up. I'm sure that's 35,000, 10 payments. That is not even including any fees going to be tacked on that. Probably another 5 to 10 grand or whatever. If there's that many payments behind or whatever, can you rent it for 5,000? Or 4,500? If you can rent it for 4,500, pick up a grand or whatever, or even 4,000. Well, I wouldn't probably do it for 4,000. But 4,500, 1,000, yeah. If the numbers, you think somebody will pay that or whatever. So, it's just about the numbers. Pete, don't get caught up in the numbers in California if you live there. The only reason stuff can sell for that much is because people can afford it.
Right.
The good thing for you is you will do the exact same thing that Renika does in Atlanta, exact same thing that I do in Birmingham. Her check may be 10,000, mine may be 7, yours may be 25,000.
Right.
Normal. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up into that. You know what I'm saying? Because when we use $100,000, we just using easy numbers for easy math. But that's some of the real estate here, whatever. So don't get caught up into that. That's what people can afford. That's the only reason they can charge what they can charge or whatever. So, that's a good thing. That's like heaven. And then you're talking in Southern California, the Bay Area, whatever, Sacramento, San Diego, I guess it's still Southern California. You're talking millions of people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That may be a really good concept out there in California too.
Oh my God.
That may be a really good concept out there.
Yeah.
But just your ability to be able to keep your house rented too, because if not, that 3,500 payment would be your 3,500 payment.
Your 3,500.
So if they having trouble, then just make sure you can hold up your own debt. But it may be a really good concept out there in California.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I want to mention the CRM guys. Let me share my screen really quick. I don't mention it enough, but we got the CRM system. You can go to dealulator.com, scroll down till you see the number one all-in-one CRM system, automation platform for real estate investors. So if you need to manage your leads better, create better follow-up, which turns into more checks. More deals to more checks, which means it should make you smile more. Check out the CRM. Just go to YouTube and do a search for Flipman CRM. We show you how to use it. Also, if you tap the didn't move the banner. If you tap the link in the description of this particular video, you'll see the you can access that same web page that I just posted there. So boom.
All right.
Shameless pub.
Boom. There you have it. All right. So Louis on Instagram wants to know, I think we pretty much can say yes, but have you ever made more than your cash buyer?
I don't think I've ever. Well, a lot of times I don't know what they've made.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you talking about on the flip?
Yeah, like what they flipped and what their profit was. So I have no idea. I guess maybe or whatever, but I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that.
So would that mean you would have to follow the project? Like,
I still don't know what he would have spent, on repair cost or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's just almost impossible to know that unless you just really have a good relationship. Now I have cash buyers that have told me, say, well, we made this much on this, but in those situations, no one has ever told me that, they made this, but like, damn, I made more than they did. So I've never, what I'm saying, because normally you don't know what they're in, their net profit was on a particular deal or whatever. So now I can tell you this, I bet you the ROI the return on investment that I get is probably beat them every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the real number.
Right.
What did I
You
spend?
put out 500 to get 10,000.
You know what I'm saying? You do
Turn
the
on that.
ROI on that. You know what I'm saying? I whoop them every time on that.
Right. And a lot less time.
And a lot less time. And a lot less stress.
And a lot less stress. Them flips are stressful.
What you talking about? I don't do them. I partnered with some cats out of California on one here locally. Got my little money back. Made a whopping $2,500. You know, I got my money what I spent on the part of the rehab I did or whatever.
Made your money. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's rewarding at the end, but
yeah, Lord have mercy.
It's some
All
things.
right, Cross Fiction Live. Thank you for joining us. You said you don't know why you never get the notifications. Make sure you have your subscription in the bill.
YouTube. Yeah, you have to turn the notifications and the bell on. Normally you'll get it or whatever, but that doesn't guarantee that you'll get it. YouTube is tricky like that. I don't even know why you have subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like I got 100, whatever, 100,000 or so. It's not like 100,000 people gonna get a notification that we're live.
Right.
Close to that. Probably not even 1,000 of those get it.
Right.
Wow.
It's
But
just
really?
like,
So they don't go to all these subscribers?
hell no. No, ma'am. It's like, what's the purpose of the subscribers if they can't get notified when they
Right.
want to see my content?
I mean, but is it something where the subscribers got to go and check something off to?
Yeah, that's why I always say tap the notification. But that's like an extra step people have to take.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To turn on that all, you turn on all, that means you get everything you're supposed to get, everything that I post or upload or whatever when I go live or whatever. I don't even think it works then or whatever. So I don't know. But anyway.
Prosper, thank you for joining us. Eric Carney, you finally came in. He says, hello, Flip Anthropist. Good day, A, and Rennie the Pretty. He just basically gave all of us nicknames. But thank you, Eric, for joining us. I hope you had a good fishing trip
Matter of fact,
today.
since we talking about that,
what?
Why don't I just show?
Show what?
We just show and tell here.
Show what?
Let me see. Who am I not subscribed to?
Answer this question while you're figuring that out.
Go ahead.
Does the CRM allow you to utilize your VUMBR numbers?
Yes.
All right, Zachary, that is a yes. Yes. You're right. Get that bag. Okay. What are you showing us?
I'm trying to pull up something. Let me see. I've been looking up a lot of stuff about Bitcoin. I'm gonna have a guy on for talking about Bitcoin and just cryptocurrency period. And probably next week if we can put our schedules together. I'm trying to just go to a site. Bitcoin moments. Let me see. Okay, we'll just use this one here. Okay, so anyway, so let me just share my screen. I just want to show people when I say how to subscribe or whatever, what you need to do. I should have been did this. So like whenever you subscribe to a channel, now a lot of people will be doing this on their phone or whatever. And so let me go over here to YouTube. So I'm going to subscribe to this particular channel right here, right? So if I subscribe to it, you see the bell here. So now it says personalized. So now they're only just going to send whatever. So you have to go up here and select all, right? In order to get all of my stuff. That's the way it's supposed to work or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't do that, then you might get them sometimes you don't or whatever. So I just wanted to show you that's how that works or whatever. So that's our YouTube lesson for today.
Okay. So the next question is going to be from Ron Daniel. And he wants to know how to work this out. He's currently in the middle of locking up a deal with a seller that has a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home on 5 acres. He wants to know, how do I go by getting the ARV on the home with so much acreage? Forget about the land, right?
I don't say forget about it, but Is that size? Well, let me see. I'm currently in the middle of a longer deal. How do go? Or the other properties that comp in that area, are they sitting on 5 acres?
Right.
If not, then if there are a lot of comps in the area, but those 5 acres are like out of the norm, then the way I would treat it is I'm going to find a like house to yours, forget about the land, and then I'm gonna comp that house. And then we'll make an adjustment for the land. That's the way I would handle it. The land is really a bonus or whatever, assuming you got enough activity in the area or whatever. You know, you got 10 plus comps. Well, you really don't need one, but ideally you want 10 plus just because, probably more than that, but at least 10, I would say, because you want active buyers in that area or whatever. That's the main thing or whatever. So, what do you think, Renee?
No, I agree 100%. Absolutely.
The land is just a bonus.
It is.
If it's
I mean,
not,
your property, it may have 5 acres, but in a situation like that, if it sits on 5 acres and everything around it don't, that property actually will be devalued, and then you would never reap the benefits of those 5 acres. So I 100% of what Todd just said.
Okay. Tony Woods wants to know, what due diligence does one need to take when buying a property through conveyance of a quit claim deed?
Well, you still need to pull a title.
Yeah, personally, I'm just gonna always pull a title. I didn't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just not gonna get quit claim on anybody. Because
I'm not gonna just do it that. My question is, Renika, why do we have to do it that way?
Well, we have to do it that way. Exactly.
But what's the problem?
Right.
Why we can't go through the normal process?
Right. Get an attorney involved, pull title, get title insurance,
get a warranty deed. Now you can quit claim like your share of a property. You know what I'm saying? Like it may be a husband and wife, and they just want to quit claim their share of the property. You feel me? And it may be to your advantage because it may have a lot of equity, and now they have to go through you to do it. I can see that, but I'm still pulling title.
Right.
Or whatever. But I'm still going to be taking a risk because he could do something to put a lien or something on it that now, that's not to my benefit. So I'm still taking a risk because the way I've acquired some form of ownership or whatever. But again, I want to know why we can't do it why we can't do it the right way, as I would say.
Exactly. And also in understanding what comes with it, doing that strategy, you are inheriting all liens and everything that's involved with that property. So you may think you got a good deal, $10,000, a house worth $100,000, but what he forgot to tell you that it was $150,000 worth of liens on it that you got to clear to sell it to anybody. Yeah. So that's why we want to pull a title, because we want to know what we're buying. I want to know, if there's some liens, I need to know how much those liens are so I can really run my numbers, because my numbers includes those liens. And I can't sell it to anyone else unless the title is clear and not clouded. So that's one of the reasons why I will always really utilize attorney and pull title, at least pull title, even in a situation like that.
All right, Tony, hopefully that answered your question in regards to that property you had. Ali Tobin, this is a question for both of you guys. This is one of those think about it, tell us a little bit about yourself questions. What would the both of you say is the most important quality about yourself that has made you successful so far? So it is your persistency. Is it your positive outlook on life? Is it your go-getter attitude? Is it your conversationalist? What is your quality that makes wholesaling easier for you?
I guess just whatever, but I'm gonna ask Renika, what is your superpower?
Basically, I mean, that's a really good question. I don't think I can pinpoint it to one, but I definitely can probably pinpoint it to 2 to 3. And I would say this. I would say my education, because my education gave me confidence to have the conversation. And you can't take that away from somebody. When you get educated on something, I don't care who you're talking to, you can have a conversation with anyone. I have a conversation with Elon Musk right now. I don't care how many billions of dollars he has. I have that conversation with him because we can talk the same language. And I would say my consistency in what I want to accomplish. That's what people like to see too. They see you running. You started, selling girdles today, now you're real estate today, and now tomorrow you're doing credit repair. That's showing an inconsistency of things. So I would say just being consistent, and no matter what the outcome is, no matter the months I didn't get paid, the months I didn't make money, I still got up the next day and I still stay consistent and still running my business and trying to perfect what it is that I have. So I would say my education gave me confidence. And just my ability to just keep going no matter what fires, no matter what obstacles is in the way, no matter what setbacks try to set me back, I'm still going to continue to push forward. So that ability to just continue to push when things are pushing against you is a superpower, I think. And when you push through that moment is where the heaven began to just kind of pour down on you. So I would say those.
All right, tie you up.
Oh man, wow, boy. Wow. It's easy to talk about weaknesses. I'm going to say I'm like her, I guess two things, right? And I'm going to say patience. I've somewhat, I've been humbled in the patience in a lot of cases. Just having the patience with things. Now, on the flip side of that, when I say patience, I also and it's hard for me to get interested in things at a high level like I used to when I was younger and be so gung-ho. Part of it is a comfort level. Because I know I can pay my bills and other people's bills in some cases. And so some of the hunger I used to have as an entrepreneur isn't there. But I'm trying to get to a point here. So like I'm interested in Bitcoin now. So I'll start researching. And so more so what I used to be, because it's sort of not like that now, is that I'll just spend hours and hours just researching something. And a lot of this stuff that you see, this technical stuff with the YouTube and all that stuff, this stuff basically is because I put the time and energy into it because that was something I was highly interested in or whatever. And I hadn't perfected it by no means, but I do think I know more than the average person about it, but it has paid off tremendously for me or whatever. Because I went years where this only could pay a phone bill and stuff like that or whatever. And so, but that also applies over to the real estate or whatever. I'll just research stuff until, I get it to a level where I can understand it. I don't think I'm the smartest person, but I'm good at copying things like the stuff that you see that I do on Instagram or TikTok. The people on TikTok probably know, because a lot of times they don't really go from, some people might not. It's like the people that on TikTok and the people on Instagram on Instagram. It's like that. So when I put something on Instagram, it's only because we've copied something that was trending on TikTok. And in a lot of cases, it hits on Instagram better than hits on TikTok, because they think I may originally came up with it. Now, I may have put my twist on it, but the idea came from some brilliant ass person on TikTok. And I just put my twist on it. I'm just saying, but the point is I'm good at copying and then putting my twist on it or what. I'm not going to invent anything or whatever. Well, I know when I see something that I can possibly do, or my resources will allow me to make some money off of it or whatever. So like again, so I'm a patience and good at mimicking things, biting, whatever you want to call it. Or some people say you're not biting, you've been inspired. You've been inspired or whatever. So, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to turn that into revenue, you know, and I'm not, well, I am ashamed. I'm sort of shame on some of the revenue it's been able to create for me. I don't even tell people what it is because it's embarrassing, because I don't desire a lot of things. So you can just, if you know me and ever met me, you'll know, you know what I'm saying? This dude, you know, what, you know, but anyway, so, so I don't know. I think I answered the question. You think I answered that?
Lord,
Absolutely.
yeah, you went like 1,000 ways.
I don't know how to answer something like
But
that.
there's a power, you said it though, there's a power in understanding there is nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Tap into what's working, put your twists on it and build and go. And there is a power in that. It's a power in that. And we'll think, oh, it's too good to be true. No, there's success stories. There's millions of success stories. There's a whole lot of wholesaling success stories. There's nothing new under the sun. We just able to find a concept and apply that knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. It's a very old technique that you put a little technology to sort of speed up the process, to make it a little easier with some of these tools, and you make money. Isn't it? You know, I'm no smarter than nobody else. The only difference may be that me is that I'm gonna jump right on it. Now, sometimes that'll get you in trouble. Now, you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
but
gosh.
as an entrepreneur, you just know it's always a possibility you're gonna lose money. You know, that's the deal. But one of the great things about real wholesaling, we're only talking a few $100s in some cases. In most cases, now you got people they spend $20,000 and $30,000 on a course or coaching or whatever. That's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the actual business itself or whatever. You know, even if you say this doesn't work or whatever, you don't have a few $100s. But it's not many businesses you can start. The very first transaction, you're in the black. You're profitable and profitable forever or whatever. And this is one of the few low risk, high reward businesses. And that's why I push it to people, you know, to get involved in it, because you know, it may not be what you want to actually do, but it could be a gateway to what you really want to do, because it takes money. Normally we're talking about, even if you may just want to be an actual musician or whatever, but you know, you can't fund going to clubs and playing for basically free or whatever, but this could provide the time and money to do that if that's what you wanted to do or whatever. I tried to get my stupid nephew to understand that, you know, he's telling me that's what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? You know how many black males don't have someone they can just walk into a door and they're going to show you the game that can change your financial situation forever or whatever. It's just so frustrating, man. I say, man, you know how many young men your age, man, and younger would love the opportunity to be around me every day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm putting my family business out there, but you know, it's just real. So
I think it boils down to all of our families.
Yeah, so but you know, this ain't the only way. You know, hey, he made. You know, I wish him all the luck. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the only way to make money. You know what I'm saying? I know what he doing. It ain't you know what right now. So anyway, I hope my sister ain't watching this.
Yeah.
Hey, he's trying to help.
Yeah, he didn't mean that's not what he said.
Strategy.
Oh boy.
Okay, but I love both of those answers. But what I will say that I heard and can take away from both of you guys, even though Ty went around the universe and we're just on our way back from Saturn with that answer.
Which one is farther?
And Renikia was a little bit more to it, but what I heard, Renikia specifically said education, and Ty said learning and following up and diving into it and having hours and hours. So the ultimate answer that both of them said was consistently educating yourself. Consistently educating yourself. Yeah, you gotta take action, but you gotta take action after you educate
After,
yourself.
now some of these, you're right, because a lot of people see one of my videos
and they jump
out there. This doesn't work. No.
Have you watched more than one video?
I hate them that convincing on that video that you get out here and do that. No, it's more than that. I spent 3 weeks. Okay, if I worked when I bought that course, that bootleg copy of Ron LeGrand's course, $400, cost $1,500. If I ever meet Ron, I'd give him his $1,500, but I'm only going to put it in his hand or whatever.
Not the bootleg,
but a bootleg copy for $400 with a burnt copy.
Renikia, funny thing, I found my copy of his copy.
You can bootleg.
Yeah,
bootleg.
That's around the time we was burning everything. We burned all
one of those old school ring spiral sheets where you go to Office Depot and they punch the holes in and put the little.
You had all that too.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, he blessed others with the bootleg.
Oh yeah, I gave that. I burnt that for several people, man.
Wow, that's for the culture right there. Hey.
So, but I went through. It was wholesaling real estate. It was lease options, subject to, and then he had owner finance, which is subject to and at least I really owner finance. Fixing, flipping, and then rentals. I knew nothing about real estate. I'm talking about absolutely nothing, but sending somebody a rental check. So that's nothing, right? So
pay your rent.
Bombarded with all of that information, and I worked 8 hours a day. When I got home, I started listening to that stuff until I fell asleep every night. And then on the weekend, I just listened to it all day or whatever. Now, he's a great teacher and motivator at the same time. He's really, there ain't talking bad about Ron by no means. Changed my whole world financially. But he's too convincing. What I'm saying?
I gotta go look at these old ads because he put a lot of y'all in the game back in the day, 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I gotta go check out these ads because I don't know.
Yeah, he's the god. There ain't no question about that.
He came on after the Soul album on BET and came before the prayer water that you could order with
yeah.
Right in between.
You wake up, you got a whole prayer thing.
That's not how I was introduced to him.
I know.
That's not how I was introduced to him.
How you was introduced to him?
Well, okay.
Carlton Sheets.
Carlton Sheets was one too.
See, the way I was introduced to it all, a friend of mine and his now wife were going to school to become real estate agents. It was in October 2002. And the guy that normally showed up for the class wasn't taught the real estate class wasn't there. So the substitute that replaced him tonight, he talked about, he didn't talk about being a real estate agent. He talked about investing in real estate, which can be totally different things. And he talked about creative ways of investing in real estate with no money. So my friend, how I was from college, I was an entrepreneur, I'm a little older than you all. When I was in my 20s, if you wanted to be an entrepreneur, that meant you didn't want to work for nobody. You were lazy. You know what I'm saying? It's not, now it's the cool thing. It's like the reverse. If you do want to work for somebody, you're dumb as hell. You know what I'm saying? So, that is the reverse now or whatever. Back then, you were lazy. You want to be a bum. You want to live off somebody because you don't want to work on it. But anyway, so he knew I was, so he told me about it. I didn't act on it at that time. So fast forward December of 2002, I was at my mom's for Christmas, December 27th, actually. And I was up early waiting on her to prepare breakfast. She was cooking some biscuits. Biscuits and syrup, my favorite. And so I saw Carlton Sheets program, but I had seen it over the years. And you're like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't really tell you anything, but hey, Carlton helped me make this much money. Carlton helped me make this much money. So I just stopped there because my friend had mentioned it to me. So I caught it about halfway through the infomercial. So I went up to dial because it was on all morning on Sunday and Saturday and Sunday morning. And I watched it from beginning to end. Again, it didn't tell you anything. It's just how much money Carlton helped me make. So at that time, my mom didn't have internet. So I waited till I got back to Birmingham and back home. And I went to this entrepreneur message board named ablake.net. I'm pretty sure it's not up anymore. And I asked the question, does Carlton Sheets program really work? And only one person replied. He said, yes, it does. But Ron LeGrand course is better. I Googled Yahoo or whatever was going on back then, Ron's course, found his website. For that quick turn real estate package, it was $1,500. That was a
Wow.
lot of money back then. It's a lot of
Wow.
money now, but that was a stimulus check. That was an upcoming stimulus check. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have $1,500. So I had made up in my mind, okay, well, I'm sorry. So what they had was, this is marketing, they had a condensed version of it for $69.99 in cassette tape form. So I ordered that. That was $80 for shipping. I got that, listened to it. It didn't tell you anything, but just snippets of different things. Like I say, he is the greatest. He motivates the hell out of you.
Right.
So I had made up in my mind, if I had to get a second job, I was going to come up with that $1,500. And so 3 days later, I thought about eBay, did a search for his name, saw an auction that had his course, that exact course on there. I bid it on the auction, lost it. Back then, people that were selling on eBay, they could email you too. And so he emailed me after the auction was over that I lost and say, hey, I'll give you a burnt copy of it, copy of it.
Not the burnt. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the bootleg copy of it. So we agreed on $400. That still was a struggle to pay that, but that's oh my God, I can't even tell you what that $400 meant to me.
Wow.
But some didn't get paid, I'm sure.
Right.
And I ordered it. And ordered that course, man, and boom, that's how I was introduced to it. I'd already got introduced to it, but that's how I got down or whatever. So that $400 investment has been like everything for me financially or whatever.
And AK is sacrifice.
Huh?
I said that was a sacrifice you had to make that investment. Right?
Yeah,
so I mean, even to today, we have to be willing to make those sacrifices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my little story. Many of you have probably already heard that, but for you all that haven't.
You know what? For those that haven't, it's a really good motivational story. It is. There it might be the age differential between some of our subscribers and you, and then from you to Renikia and from me to Renikia, but the thing still stays the same. It's about hustle. It's still about educating yourself on the process and then putting it into work. So yeah, now stuff like that, you wouldn't think of. Everything is available on the internet. You wouldn't even have to buy the bootleg version because somebody bought it and just put it out there, But
I got a hold to it in 2003. It was a recording from 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because in that recording,
they've been bootlegging this man stuff for years.
In that recording now, but that was the actual version he was selling online 6 years later. So he said in that recording, he said, now that was 97. So the internet really came around to the public in like 95. It existed many years before that, but to the public around 95 or so. And he said, they even got this thing out here called the internet. You can sell you can find houses off that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So the information I received was 6 years old, minimum.
Wow.
Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, that was the best $400.
But it hasn't changed from 97, 95.
Well, the only thing that's changed is just the tools.
It's the tools.
The internet,
tools that can be used.
You got more tools.
Yeah, like people ask me, well, do I need prop stream or do I need this to do this? I like this stuff hasn't always existed.
No, when we started, none of that existed. It was manual.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Very manual.
You all have it easier or whatever. Absolutely. So, but anyway, so.
I'm just gonna put it out there. You got like 5 new nephews in the chat box.
They want to be in there.
Yeah, they're like, Uncle Ty will be in there.
Yeah, he ruined it for y'all, man. He ruined it, man. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. Joke up more. I got him about so bad when I had coronavirus. Screaming to the top of my lungs. About to die. Ended up in the ER 2 days later. Fooling around with that joker.
All right.
Lord have mercy. Boy.
But on that sense, all jokes aside, that is one of those, in addition to educating yourself consistently, that goes on to speak of family. Sometimes family just isn't going to want to get on board. They're not going to want to learn this. They're not going to believe that this works. They're not going to be behind you. So you have to be able to do this without that, empowerment from family. It's normally a stranger that rides with you a lot harder. But guess what? When them coins start coming in, the car note get late, house note ain't paid, need tuition for the semester.
Have you ever seen the movie Boiler Room?
Come in.
It's on tied in. Tied. So but you don't want to learn. You don't want to learn this. You don't wanna, yeah.
They one of my favorite movies for the entrepreneurs. If you've never seen it, watch the movie Boiler Room, and in the movie, it's in the orientation is about selling stocks or whatever, that world. And he said one of the dudes say F you, mom and dad. Tell me that when I'm making your effing Lexus payment.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, F you money.
Oh yeah, funny boy. Oh,
that is one of the but that just goes to say that some of you guys are going to have to do this on your own. You're going to have to
it's not even some. I think everybody's journey start off like that. Your family's gonna be the last few to get on your boat because they don't even see you as a business owner.
No.
So
they don't even. I don't even talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't talk about, like, when my core friends or whatever. I don't talk about this stuff to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally at all or whatever. They may bring it up, call somebody bring it up to them or whatever. But I don't talk about. I know they're not interested. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about my male friends or whatever. I know. So they're not interested in it. We've been across that bridge or whatever. They do what they do, I do what I do or whatever. So I know they
find you like-minded people.
Yeah. So I have the people that I talk business with, then I have my friends to get away from this.
Exactly.
And, whatever. So
exactly.
You have to have that balance. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
I don't have to get with my friends and talk business too. Like sometimes I just want to be with my friends, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Until your friends start asking for stuff, then like, let's talk about business.
Right. Like, oh man, now I'm working.
You know what? The people that I can really consider my friends, if I got it, they can get it. Within
absolutely
or whatever. I don't even trip about it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Because normally they ain't asking for nothing, that's going to like make a difference in my life, financial or whatever. So, whatever, it's my folks too, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I don't desire a lot of things. So like, my mama a trip in the sense that she think people be trying to take advantage of me or whatever. And, I don't think because I'm the youngest.
You always want a baby, right?
She identifies me as her baby because I'm the youngest or whatever. So, I'm like, boy, ain't no big deal. Trust me, mother. Ain't nobody taking advantage of me unless I want to be taken advantage of.
I may not be
that mama love something different.
I may not be the richest man in the world, but I got enough money to solve your problems. You said different level of problems.
I got that from a comedian, but I say the actual quote is, I may not be the richest, I may not be rich, but I guarantee I can take care of what you got going on.
Right.
All right, guys, we've been on for over an hour. I hope you guys, if you didn't, go back about 20 minutes or so to listen to what qualities Renicia and Ty think are beneficial to this wholesaling game. And then again, you can hear Ty's start in this wholesaling, which is just motivational in itself on any of you that want to get started. We talked about earlier when we first came on that the first quarter of 2021 is almost gone. January, February, March, we're 3 months in. But it's not too late. There's a lot of money to be had.
Yeah, a lot of stimulus money been finna get poured in. You need to, I'm gonna cut you off. Hey,
the
stimulus bread. You need to dedicate some of that to add some zeros onto that money, period, or whatever, right? Yeah. All this foolish stuff you can go out there and buy. Now, if you got bills, you got to pay bills behind, I get that, or whatever. You got to do what you got to do. But if foolishness is part of that, I'm telling you, obviously, if you're here watching this, there's a reason why you're here watching this or whatever. People still getting their tax returns. If you're on that level financially or whatever, So those are just opportunities, man.
Absolutely.
Change the game. But
Absolutely.
educating yourself and then applying it or whatever. Just understand it doesn't have to be perfect to make money in this or whatever. The more you educate yourself, the more you eliminate potential problems or mistakes in the business. But again, mistakes are okay. Normally, you're going to learn something very valuable, more than I can probably ever teach you or whatever. So take advantage of all this bread they finna give out and change your financial situation, change your family's financial situation forever.
Ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Renikia, before we close out, any additional words or anything else?
You know, I hate to even come back behind Ty. I think Ty said it all.
Okay, guys. Stimmy's rolling out. Uncle Joe, y'all talking about Uncle Ty, Uncle Joe.
Try to make sacrifices for your family.
Yeah.
It's time to make sacrifices for your life and for your life. It's just time for us to start making these sacrifices. We get this money, we blow it. It's time to get this money and direct it into something that's going to make you more money over time.
All right, there you have it. Follow Ty on AxeFlipMan on TikTok, IG, and Twitter. Again, that's at AxeFlipMan. Hit the like, subscribe button so you'll be notified when new content is uploaded or possibly when Ty goes live. Join us next Thursday right here, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern, where you can ask questions in regards to wholesaling real estate with little no cash or credit. Visit dealulator.com. If you have deals, if you need the contract, if you want to add Dealulator, aka PropStream, to your tool chest, there's some great info there, and dive into those videos, guys. 500 plus videos available to you on YouTube. A lot of you guys are asking, where do I start? YouTube University. Yes, go there, educate yourself, guys, and then come back and ask questions and we'll fill in the blanks. It's a lot harder sometimes when you guys are asking like day one questions, which that's okay too. The stupidest question is the question I'd ask. So make sure you're asking those questions, but educate yourself a little bit and then get ready to dive in. That's all we got. As we say here, we'll see you on the flip side and get that bag.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Yeah, that.